Well, would you look at that? Intel stock is up over 8% after hours today. We'll zoom out here on the 5-minute and just get a chance to look. For a $150 billion market cap company, I would think 8% is quite a lot. Hello everyone, my name is Bruce. We're gonna get into the financials and the economic outlook for the company Intel because they released their Q2 2023 earnings today. So we're gonna look at what was estimated of Intel, what they actually reported today, and what their current outlook looks like for the future. I know Intel is a very important company. It's in the crux of all of this data and AI gluttony that's going on. So there's a huge demand for chips and a ton of different companies that are trying to compete. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna go just simply over here to Google, where we're gonna look at their earnings per share was expected -3 cents, and they actually reported a 13-cent earnings per share. This was a rise of 550%. So that's one reason that we see a huge spike. Intel was actually expected to have a negative earnings per share, and they reported positive. That's a huge gap. Revenue expected 12.14 billion, revenue reported 12.95, nearly 13. Surprise still of 6.7%. Yeah, they really beat earnings here. So we'll just take a look here at the financials. I have total revenue quarter by quarter, and we can see Intel has had a steady decline. Total revenue 2021 Q1, 18 billion. 15.3 billion. Next quarter, 15.3 billion again. Q4 of 2022, 14 billion. And then Q3 of 21, 11 billion. So, we thought that this trend was going to keep continuing. Hey, why was Intel's Q2 2023 earnings per share estimate negative? Well, Bard tells us Intel's Q2 2023 EPS estimate was negative for a number of reasons, including, number one, the company is facing increasing competition from rivals such as AMD and NVIDIA. Number two, Intel has been struggling to keep up with the latest manufacturing technologies, which has led to higher costs. Number three, Intel has been investing heavily in new manufacturing facilities, which has also weighed on earnings. Number four, the global chip shortage has hurt Intel's sales as customers have been unable to get the chips that they need. Intel's second quarter of 2023 financial results. 12.9 billion, down 15% year over year. And even though they're down 15% year over year, the combination of the economic headwinds and the increased competition on Intel's plate, people basically on the block assumed that Intel was going to do a lot worse this quarter than they ended up reporting. So even though down 15% year over year, they're still up massively from where expectations were. So we hear from Pat Gelsinger, the CEO of Intel. He says, our Q2 results exceeded the high end of our guidance as we continue to execute on our strategic priorities, including building momentum with our foundry business and delivering on our product and process roadmaps. We are also well positioned to capitalize on the significant growth across the AI continuum by championing an open ecosystem in silicon solutions that optimize performance, cost, and security to democratize AI from cloud to enterprise, edge, and client. Now, this is a huge thing on everyone's minds. AI, of course. Remember, in the beginning of the video, I think it's very important to note that the increased gluttony for compute and compute power is huge because of AI. The large language models, such as those developed by OpenAI and those developed by Meta, they consume a ton of compute, right? Large language models are built on neural networks, which require a lot of compute, a lot of chips, a lot of CPUs and GPUs. So that's one thing to note when we're thinking about the future of these companies like Intel, NVIDIA, AMD. They're centered around providing the data storage and the compute for these new developments in technology. So within 5 segments: client computing, data center and AI, network and edge, Mobileye, Intel Foundry Services. So Intel actually segments their businesses across 5 different segments. You can go here to their page to read a little bit more about what each one of their segments is. I find this a bit interesting. We won't go over that in today's video, but of course, I wanted us to dive into the actual news release and read a little bit about their second quarter 2023 financial results to try and understand a little bit more of what's going on with Intel. Of course, on this channel, we're focused on trading, day trading, swing trading potentially. So Intel might prove to be a very volatile stock to trade tomorrow morning. However, for people that are long-term investors and they're looking to understand the company more, that's what we're going to get into right now. And they're forecasting for the third quarter of 2023 a revenue of approximately $12.9 billion, or from $12.9 billion to where it is, to $13.9 billion. So they're expecting it to be somewhere in the range. So at least the revenue of what's going on right now. To the high end, they expect a revenue of $13.9 billion. They're expecting a third quarter EPS attributable to Intel of 4 cents, non-GAAP EPS attributable to Intel of 20 cents. So we're going to look a little bit into their numbers, right? Revenue of 12.9, we already saw that. Year over year, 15.3, down 15%. Gross margin is 35%, 35.8% for Intel. Compute and technology usually has a very high margin compared to other business segments. So 35.8, pretty cool. And gross margin actually grew last year, 36.5. Or they actually shrunk. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Down 0.7%. We're going to go into a business unit summary. Intel previously announced the organizational change to integrate its accelerated computing systems and graphics group into its client computing group and data center and AI group. This change is intended to drive a more effective go-to-market capability and to accelerate the scale of these businesses while also reducing costs. As a result, the company modified its segment reporting in the first quarter of 2023 to align to this and certain other business reorganizations. All prior period segment data has been retrospectively adjusted to reflect the way the company internally receives information and manages and monitors operating segment performance starting in fiscal year 2023. Business highlights. Intel remains on track to meet its goal of achieving 5 nodes in 4 years and to regain transistor performance. Okay, bit more about the company. The company announced that its board of directors declared a quarterly dividend of 12.5 cents per share on the company's common stock, which will be payable on September 1st, 2023. 12.5, very puny for this company at their stock price is $34, $35. But I want us to zoom out. We looked a little bit at that report. I want us to zoom out to the month view, essentially. Look, this is over the long run. This is Intel, this is Intel in the 2000s bubble, the crash, and then the 2021 bubble of tech as well. So Intel, over the long run, has seen way better days. But of course, they've been beaten down, and Intel, year over year, in the share price has been, doing pretty well. So I expect some volatility to come from this stock tomorrow morning. That is just my estimate. Of course, I am on Webull, and they have a lot of tools for you to look at financials, net income, operating income, balance sheet, cash flow, comparison to peers, looking at news, different news reports, looking at the charts, looking at the options on Intel, just a ton of different stuff. So I want to look at why Intel is still up 8% today. I mean, pretty crazy. And hopefully this provides some clarity on Intel receiving, more competition and more market headwinds and turmoil. Of course, but they did way better than all the analysts expected them to do, having an earnings per share of 13 cents instead of an earnings per share of -3 cents like was expected. So thank you everyone for watching this quick video, this quick update on Intel. If you like this kind of content, leave a comment below and tell me what you thought. If you didn't like the content, leave a comment below and tell me what you thought. Either way, both ways is fine with me. But anyway, folks, I'll see you in the next video, and I hope you have a good day. All right, take care.
you.